Hello everyone and welcome to Flawless, a music podcast. My name is Liam and unfortunately my co-hosts George and Grant can't be here today. We are here to present a very special episode of Flawless. We are backstage at the Princess Theatre, so we're resuming our Backstage Series that we haven't done for a couple of years now, but it's great to be here at the Princess Theatre celebrating their first anniversary of being open, which is awesome for them. So if you're here in Brisbane, definitely check them out. Each episode of Flawless, a host or a guest nominates an album that they think is flawless, and we discuss how they discovered it, what they love about it, and what makes it flawless for them. We have a Facebook group. It's called Flawless Friends and Family, and it's where we discuss all the things music that we love and that you love, and we post in there about upcoming episodes and what albums are nominated. You can find the link to that in our show notes. And of course, we have a Patreon. You can back us from as little as $1 a month, and you get early access to our episodes, access to our bonus episodes, and that warm, fuzzy feeling inside that you're helping us spread the Flawless love. You can find us at patreon.com/flawlessamp. Now, of course, being a backstage special, we have some guests with us this evening who are going to be gracing the stage of the Princess Theatre in celebration of their first birthday. Would you like to introduce yourselves?
Yes. I'm Liam Ward, the bass player of Peach Fur.
And I'm Danny Hilda, the lead singer and guitarist.
Cool.
Thanks for having us, Liam.
Yeah, thank you very much, Liam.
Tell us about Peach Fur. How long have you guys been together? What sort of stuff do you do?
Take the reins, Danny.
Well, so we've been together for about 7 years now. We've known each other for way longer. Me, Mikey and Ben have known each other since school, and then we met Liam in our last year of school, actually. So that's when the band formed, and we were just sort of coming to learning our instruments, started writing some songs and whatnot, and we didn't have a very vital part of the band, which was the bass. And fortunately, we met him over at South Strabo's. Yeah, exactly. And we met Liam over at South Strabo's Island.
Nice.
Well, the first time we met, I was actually in the dumpster at your school, but you guys can't remember me. I looked very different. But
you had flyers buzzing around.
That's
we
right.
definitely don't know this guy.
Yes, that was me, man. That was me.
Wow.
Crazy. Sorry, I'd never brought that up before.
Yeah, no, I'm glad we got that settled because you look super familiar.
Don't tell
when
the
I
other
met you
boys.
First time.
Nice.
Yeah.
Where can people find out about Peach Fur? Where can they listen to your stuff, check you out?
On all platforms, I guess. Yeah, Spotify, Apple Music,
Google.
That's
right.
Instagram.
Yeah, you guys on Facebook,
jazz.
Instagram, follow you on all the socials, that sort of thing. Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. So check out Peach Fur. Would you like to tell us what album you're nominating today?
Yes, we're nominating Day Night by Parcels.
Very cool album. Parcels are an Australian electro pop 5-piece, although electro pop doesn't really even begin to cover. There's such a hard album to put into a genre, but that's probably as good as any. So they're a 5-piece who formed in Byron Bay in Australia in 2014, but are now based in Berlin. Obviously finding maybe the Europeans like that sort of style of music a bit more than they did over here. So how did you guys discover Parcels?
Wow. Discovering Parcels. I think I got introduced to it by some friends of ours that are actually in Budded, Scott Dalton and Jackson James Smith, legendary musicians and best mates of mine. They showed me the Parcels when they first started, and I was like, oh my god, man, these guys are freaks, all still living in Byron and stuff, neighbours down the road, and felt so humbled by their work, oh my gosh, I can be there one day, and showing me videos and whatnot, and now seeing them last weekend, and watching what they've created and seeing them live for the first time, blew my mind. Blew my mind.
Nice.
I came on a little bit later, so I didn't know about Parcels until they were in Berlin. I don't know if it was on the Jays or something like that. Was the first time I heard them, and it was actually, I'm gonna be completely frank, when I first listened to it, I liked it, but I didn't really get drawn to it the way that I am now. It was actually through a live set they did in Paris at the La Cigale or something like that. Yep. They did, and then after seeing that set, I could just see how amazing they really are.
Yeah.
Their musicality is just next level.
Yeah.
They're freaks.
Yeah.
It's frustrating.
It is.
Yeah, I was reading up about them. It was interesting. They the entry had like a lot of details about the bands they were in before Parcels, and it was like, oh, you know, these two guys were in this band. So there's five people in Parcels, and then a few extra supporting people. But it was like, oh, these two guys were in this band, and then these two guys were in this band. They won the Blues Fest busking comp. The band that they were in before this, another band they were in before this won the Splendor in the Grass opening slot, all that sort of stuff. And I was like, okay, cool. So, you know, they're all quite experienced. And it's like, and then they graduated high school. It's like,
wow.
Oh my God, wait a minute. They did all that stuff before. Like,
Holy shit.
Yeah, so they met the last member of the band in the last year of high school, and that's when they formed Parcels.
Wow.
Right. Like, no, all that stuff can't happen before.
That's cool.
Like, it was insane.
That's crazy. You know that.
So, band's lineup is keyboardist Louis Swain, keyboardist and guitarist Patrick Hetherington, bassist Noah Hill, drummer Anatoly Toto Sarat, and then guitarist Jooms Crommelin. You may have noticed there's not actually a vocalist listed. Because I'm pretty sure they all just do vocals. I think even putting that list of what they play is probably too restrictive as well. I get the feeling they're all just doing
everything,
all sorts of stuff.
Yeah. Definitely.
So this is their second album. Their first one was just the self-titled Parcels album. Was there any reason you picked this one over the first one?
I'd say it would like be the impact it's like had. You know, I think how they've done it like is just amazing by combining I guess the lightness and the dark into a double LP, having like that many songs on there.
Yeah.
It's so inspiring, and the songs just hit so hard. Like the first album they do as well. I just think the concept to me I've really sort of resonated with, and especially we're actually working
There's
on
a lot of heart in it.
Yeah, there's so much heart, like, you know, coming out of the darkness into the light.
So did you want to tell people about like the concept part of it and how it's a double album?
Yeah, I guess like, well, to be honest, I haven't looked too much into it. I don't know the bottom, but and my I guess
that's your ear telling you that.
Yeah, like, you know, just
the
like,
old ear.
The old ear in the brain.
Do you have one of them?
Barely.
Can I borrow it sometime?
Yeah, for sure,
Thanks, mate.
for sure.
Right. Rain check.
We'll lend it to each other.
Thanks.
Yeah. And then maybe do an interview after.
That's right.
I just think it's a brilliant concept. Based on the instrumentation, the way the songs flow into each other is just
So it is a double album. 19 songs on the original version, plus on the Spotify and everywhere else. There's like redos of the first four singles that were just because the singles are still the 5 and 6 minute songs, so they do oscillate quite a bit between like the 7 minute song and then down to like a 3 or even like a 1 or 2 minute song. So, but all the singles are quite long. But then they have single versions, obviously for the radio, so they shorten it down a little bit. But so 19 songs overall, bit an hour and 23 minutes, I think it was. So it's a double album. It was released double CD and double vinyl, and the first one is called Day and then Night, so it's light, dark, day, night, a lot of that sort of stuff going between it.
No, it's beautiful.
So you mentioned just before seeing them, you've seen them live just a week ago. They're currently on an Australian tour. How was that? Tell us about seeing them. That was your first time.
Like, I nearly shat my pants. Like, I was so excited. Like, I've got a crush on all of them, especially Noah, the bassist. Like, you know, I'd like to shake his hand, get a bit of whatever he's got going. But yeah, like, honestly, between the musicianship, the mateship, the sound, the light show, everything that they did up there, it was truly one of the most inspiring moments in my musician career. Like, inspired I've ever felt. Like,
nice.
To think that we can one day achieve that or be anything like they are, you know, like, is massive.
100%. Yeah, I'm totally with that. Like, that's one of the most inspiring performances I can remember. Like, other than watching it on YouTube or something like that. But seeing a band like that was incredible.
And I think another big factor of us choosing this album as well was, you know, Splendor didn't go to shit. Splendor was still fun. But a lot of people were devastated. Like, we were about to jump in the van to head down there on the Friday, I'm pretty sure it was. And, you know, word on the street hit, no one's going, it's been cancelled. Like,
on Friday,
so we all had the no Splendor blues a little bit. So we turned to drinking on the couch. We all just sat there with like a 6-pack each, and watched their show, like their live album drop in France. Well, not live, but their live footage. And man, that for me was one of the best moments ever. Like that was us kind of bonding over something sad.
Yeah.
And sitting there on the couch, drinking our sorrows away, but watching probably one of the best acts I've ever seen.
Nice.
And then getting to see it in person.
Yeah.
And it's different, man.
Yeah.
They changed it again. Like
100%.
it felt very Berlin.
Yeah.
Like, their last live set, like I felt like I was in a club.
Yeah.
At some point, it's like so sweaty.
Elsewhere, 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it.
Nice. So do they, I guess, switch around I didn't get a chance to watch many live videos, but do they switch around the instruments a lot? Like, is it different people leading each song? Because when you go through the list, they've got like different songwriters for each song and then almost different music writers each one as well. So I think they all just play that role together and they all just sort of pitch in and write their own pieces and jam it out and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So do they switch a lot of instruments on stage and different sort of roles in each song?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
A lot, like switching up between keyboard, guitar, and leading vocals as well. Like although they're harmonizing a lot, like there's a lot of times you can tell which ones are their songs because then they'll lead with it, and the lyrics they're so brilliant. Like a song I have got called "Coming Back" off Day Night, like. It's so like even like I guess like watching something, it's inspiring for us as a band, but listening to the lyrics in that song like about perseverance, and like we've been doing this for a while now and we're starting to see some of the rewards from it.
That's
but
right.
it's listening to that song,
we've got free beers in our hands, right?
Exactly. But at times of self-doubt and stuff, I'll chuck on that song and it lifts me up. It's just like I've just got to keep charging through and
so that's the one that starts with like the dance hall piano, like the janky piano sort of stuff, and then carries that through. So there's sort of been a couple of quieter, softer ones to open with, and that's probably the first big full party song all the way through, which is just really cool. The guitar comes in and then it just goes into that funky dance number. And by the end, the guitar, the drums, and the bass line are going so fast. I would love to see it live. Listening to it, I was like, that would be just, you can just see it absolutely going off. And the whole crowd just getting right behind it.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, the energy from that crowd like that night.
Everyone was one.
Yes.
Everyone was one.
They were.
Nice.
Yeah. So beautiful.
Yeah, so we mentioned they're based out of Berlin now, so they're signed through Because Music. This album came out on 5th of November 2021, so it's quite recent. This is obviously with Flawless, a lot of the albums are usually quite historical. People have been growing up with them, they've been around them forever. But you picked one that sort of, within a year, you've already decided,
it's pretty good.
I'm all in.
Yeah.
Did you think it was Flawless right? Like, did it grab you like the first time you put it on and you listened to, oh my God, this is an album that I'm going to listen to forever and it's flawless, or would it take a few listens?
100%. First listen, I was like, what?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, it was incredible. And I think, I don't know, part of that, because we're super inspired by older music. And like, that's a lot of our inspiration is from an older generation. Yeah. So I thought it'd be cool for this to actually talk about more of a newer influence and inspiration. So but it still holds just as much value.
Nice. Yeah, cool. And while they were over there, they moved over to Berlin and they teamed up with Daft Punk. To do their first, actually their first single, their 2017 single, which they actually ended up leaving off their first album because they were like, Daft Punk didn't do anything with the rest of the album, so they said it felt a little weird to sort of throw on this one song that didn't necessarily sound like any of the rest of the stuff. But if you listen to this album, even still, some of the bass lines and the funk stuff, just straight off Random Access Memories. I'm like, did you guys just copy that straight? Like, it's just the same bass line straight on there. It's really cool that they still sort of held on to that one.
Like, I even thought, like, Daft Punk, I remember saying that to Benny when he was, 2 inches in front of me in the back of the furthest back you could get, but like the hottest, sweatiest little mosh ever. But it was great, man. So there is a lot of influence in there as well.
Yeah, and I think they do the same thing that Daft Punk do, which is they look back at the historical stuff and the retro stuff, and then use that, but then fill it with a new sort of feel to it as well, which is
the
really
right
cool.
hand of that guitarist, man. That's
ridiculous.
It's like some Curtis Mayfield shit.
Yeah. So there's lots of different genres on the album. There's obviously, like, even within the rock genre, like, so there's the rock stuff, there's disco, pop and electro, but then also there's a lot of orchestral arrangements throughout the album as well. So a guy called Owen Pallett did a lot of the orchestral arrangement, I assume with the rest of the band. But a lot of the songs they use that sort of the orchestral stuff to give it an extra piece of body and really sort of stretch it out a bit. Did they do that the same thing on the first album, or was the first album a bit more straightforward with the instruments?
I believe it was a bit more straightforward. There was some strings, but yeah, I feel like they've really tied in that theme with the new album, like that orchestral feel and yeah.
Did you want to talk about some of your other favourite songs off the album? What's some of the other ones that really grab your attention?
Daywalk's so good.
Yeah, dude. Like, I second that.
Oh my god.
I second that.
It's such a vibe. Like it just like gets you instantly bopping and so happy. Even though like I don't believe there's no lyrics on it.
No, that's an instrumental
full
one.
Instrumental and so dope.
So super funky instrumental. The theme of the album is day and night, so there's definitely like a first album which is all sort of living your day, and then we've done even concept albums where it's like you'd live a day and then go out at night in the second half of the album, and it's like people are going out clubbing and partying, but these guys, their night one is more like a time for reflection, like it's a time when they start looking inwards, maybe some of their demons start coming up that they can't really control, whereas in the day they sort of feel a bit more in control. Whereas this is Daywalk is right towards the end of the day side, so it's like starting to lean into that sort of the darker side as well. Really cool.
Yeah, I guess it is that like almost like metaphor interpretation of light and darkness. Yeah. You know, the day being the light and the night being the darkness, which exists in all of us. So it's great.
I think Something Greater became one of my favourites literally after that show. Like, I think it was the last song they played. And it's been stuck in my head ever since, to be honest. I just remember some of the boys just singing it continually afterwards, and we're all harmonising their parts, and, like, thinking we're cool shit. Like, thought we were pretty good. A few people turned their heads and went, nice work, guys. Like, they probably just didn't mean it. But that's all right. We'll take it.
So does anyone know why they don't have any spaces in their in the titles of their songs? I was thinking that as well. No spaces.
So I've heard when they first started making music, I think like the space bar didn't work on one of their computers. So then they've just ended up stop using
what
it.
What legends. That's so funny.
Good. That's definitely a Lemmy move.
Yeah. What do you mean?
With your broken laptop at the moment.
Oh yeah, I slept on it. Funny. Yeah. Sorry, laptop. Rest in peace.
But so Something Greater is really cool. It's right before Daywalk, so it's got the slow burn. There's quite a few albums that got that slow burn that build up into that flourish, and then it gets the orchestral flowing behind it. It's got some really cool lyrics in there. That's like just that breakup song at the end of the day sort of song, like and that's where I think the demons are going to start coming in at night, is like he hasn't made the right choices, has hurt people, that sort of thing. And then there's little flourishes of guitar, little picks of guitar all the way through the chorus. It's a really cool song.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant.
No, it's beautiful.
Any other songs that you guys like? We can go through as many as you like.
Lambskins?
I'm trying to think right now. Like Daywalk, I was definitely like, I'm holding this up my ass. And then you just blurted it out straight. I was like, fuck you, Denny.
Shadow's also great. Shadow's amazing. We got a song called actually Shadows.
Exactly. I was just thinking that. Maybe we can get some people accidentally clicking on our version of Shadows and then get some listens.
Yes.
Yeah, so Shadow opens the night side, so that's the first one where it's the darker side.
Yeah.
And it's almost the companion piece to the first song on Day is light.
Yes.
And it's quite uplifting and it's quite big, and it almost reminded me of like Polyphonic Spree, sort of like they have a lot of stuff that's like flourishes and lots of instruments, and then like some really super harmonized vocals, and they tend to open their albums with stuff like that. And that sort of reminded me of that. And then this is like the companion piece to that, is like the tunes are similar, the notes are similar, but it's in a dark, and I don't know anything about minor keys or minor chords. You guys can tell me all about that if you know.
Yeah.
But it feels like it's in a similar pattern, but just that tilt a little bit to the negative side.
Exactly. Which is such a sick transition.
Yeah.
Like to happen in the album to get that flow going on, and I guess it ties in the whole concept.
Yeah.
Which is so cool.
It's right.
So cool.
It's quite good that often when we talk about like the older albums that they were put out on vinyl, is like there's a good end point to the first side of a vinyl because that's when the person's got to get up and then switch the vinyls over.
Yeah.
Whereas this one feels like it's a double album, but still for the MP3. Like you want that flow straight from. You're not necessarily expecting to get up and swap discs or swap vinyls over anything. Like it's just the whole thing just flows as a single piece as well, which is really cool.
Definitely.
Fucking right.
It's just super, super long.
It's like Abbey Road.
Yeah.
And another cool song on sort of towards the end, the last song on the day side is Outside, which again has that, it's like a big 7-minute song. It's got that big orchestral sweep all the way through it again. But it's written by Patrick Hetherington from the band, who I don't think does a lot of other, I think he was one who didn't show up as many times. But he says...
Isn't that nice? What an old man can tell ya. Ain't it just cruel what your old mom remembers? I don't wanna be my father, but I don't wanna be alone. How can I hide? How can I? No.
And that's that same again, like we're about to get deep and dark on the other side of this album, and that's sort of those thoughts are starting to creep in and really start to affect him as well.
That was like that song was so hard hitting during the live set too. Like that was like people were just standing there, you know, like just watching. Man, it was so beautiful, and it's like, you know, putting your heart out there, like you can just feel that song, you know. And there's a lot of music out there nowadays that, you know, can be aimed at making it, you know, but you can tell when something's so genuine. It's like boom, man, like that.
Yeah,
like, hit me in the
pulls the
feels.
string.
You know?
Yeah.
This
really did.
It's a weird sound because it's kind of. It's not super popular, the kind of stuff they make, like, you know, chart-wise or anything like that.
Yeah.
Like, the album itself doesn't even have a Wikipedia entry. Normally, we get a lot of our facts for albums off the album's Wikipedia entry. And this one does, like, the band has one. That's where I got all the band facts. But the album itself doesn't have one. Like, they're not even, people aren't even thinking of them strongly enough to go, we're going to create it. And, you know, that's how you document who worked on it and what charted and that sort of thing. But this is, but it feels like it incorporates a lot of elements that are super popular right now. And they were on Triple J, I think last year, doing like a version and stuff like that. Like they're on the radio and they're making the kind of stuff that people like, but it just feels like they're not the way they're putting it together in their own way, which is different for people.
Yeah.
And they're just doing what they love, and you can that reflects on stage, you know.
Yes.
Like I definitely feel like they're just going, this is for us.
Yeah.
And if you like it, we're stoked to have you on board.
Yeah.
Which is such a cool way to do it.
And it's so timeless as well
Yes.
that way. Like,
Too
you
right.
know, by sticking to the artistry and not like, I don't know, I guess trying to conform to what's popular, that sort of music just will you know, live on forever.
Yeah, and I think there's lots of like really timeless themes in here. Like it's not specific to this day and age. Like it's love and loss and all that sort of thing. One other thing I really liked is it's really obvious what most of the songs are about too. Like you just a quick breeze through the lyrics and you go, I can get a vibe straight for what the song's about, which is always good too. I think it helps you connect to the people who are performing, thinking, this song's about something like that. But yeah, as we head into the darker side, I really like Lord Henry. That's a really cool one. Once again, it's 90 seconds before there's any vocals, big orchestral to open up and into the slow burn. And it's similar to Famous, which comes a little bit early, and we'll probably jump back to that one. But so Famous is that pure disco one. Like it's almost, they just cut all, it's like, we could do 10 disco songs if you want. Here's our pure
like that
disco
bass
song.
is hitting the Bee Gees level.
It's just absolute pure. And then the really high speed guitar licks, and there's two electric guitar parts, not dueling with each other, but not playing the same song, the same melody either. Like it's slightly different. And then there's hand claps. So George was here, our co-host. She loves and I love hand claps, but George really loves hand claps. And there's a few songs on this album that have just bring in that little hand clap, and you get, you know that it would be a great crowd participation moment. Everyone gets to clap along and that sort of thing.
There's so many claps.
It's hard to keep people from clapping. It It was great.
During and after the song.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So
But then,
good.
so that one, it doesn't, something that a couple of songs do, which is like they'll be playing one melody in one tempo and then they'll just stop and just the tempo just completely changes and like four of the instruments just disappear.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
Like a completely, and you almost think like, did I hit skip
It's just-
accidentally?
yeah,
Or like, did I miss something up? But it's just, and once again, I'd love to see him do it live because I bet they could just on that moment just change the way it's playing. It would be really cool.
I think they did that only, once during the live set, where they just went boom and like hit you hard, but it was just like, oh, and everyone just kind of looked like everyone at the show just looked at their friends, going like, "You see that? Like we did see that." Well, it's not some of the shorter people.
Yeah,
They missed that,
it'd be really interesting to see how they like write and arrange their music because it's so like it seems so intricate that it's like, you know, it'd just be fascinating.
Dude,
sitting on
let's
a
get an
session,
extendable ladder and go to Berlin.
100%.
We'll find them.
We'll find that club again.
Find 'em, we'll just look through the window.
Yeah. Might put ourselves in a box.
That's right.
Send by Amazon. Some could say a parcel.
That's a good way to do it. Oh, stop it.
There's never a huge amount of lyrics in any of the songs either, though. Like even the long ones, they're usually more music and just shorter lyrics.
Yeah.
So I feel like maybe it's more jamming.
Yeah.
Like five of them in a room just playing around. You know,
Yeah.
maybe each of them has a guitar and a keyboard and they're doing different pieces.
Yeah.
And just sort of bring stuff in and see how it goes.
100%.
It is like a mega jam, eh?
Yeah.
And their transitions, like even like seeing the transitions in the album itself are so beautifully done and so solid. But they take to another level in their live set, which is where I really take my hat off to them and think like, you know, the album itself, like in the digital copy that we listen to, is so wonderful. But what makes it so special for me is that live perspective as well. Like, because it's still that same album. It's just been presented in a different format. That's why I nearly shat my pants. Like, it was so good. I just couldn't get enough.
So good.
So so the reason I wanted to jump back to Famous is because it's all about becoming famous and the price of fame, which feels very like Saturday Night Fever, disco party sort of stuff as well. Like that's really cool. And then that goes on to Lord Henry after there's a gap in between, but then that's the one that's about. It's similar to Famous, but it's all about being powerful and in power. So they sing.
We can have it all. We can feel the fire. We can rule the world. We can go to war.
Which is punk lyrics. But it's not delivered in a punk
Yeah.
way. So when it's one of those things because I often have trouble hearing the exact lyrics. So I won't recognize the words until I actually see them on the screen. As I bring up the screen, I'm like, "Are we sure that's what he said? Because surely you'd have to say that angrily." But none of them say anything angrily.
so
It's always
softly,
just about fooling in that style and going really smooth. So it's really cool.
Totally.
They are smooth cats.
Yeah.
And then of course, because you've got Day Walk, you've also got Night Walk on the other side as well, which is really cool. So that's another big slow one, but it stays quite slow and maudlin. But then it does one of those tempo changes where it jumps into like halfway through, it just cuts out for these little organ and piano lines that are sort of dueling at one another. Really cool. So it feels like it's like a soundtrack to like a noir movie. So that's probably something we haven't talked about so much. Is like they're almost like creating these big soundscapes. Like it's quite orchestral and soundtracky, and sort of it gives you visuals nice and easily as well. Like there's the interlude, the inner city on the first side, where it's like you've got rain and you've got it's giving it evokes that imagery really easily.
100%.
Definitely.
100%.
Any other songs that you guys want to really hit on? Anything else that's grabbed you?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just I feel like it's just a masterpiece. The whole thing, like
It rounds out, the last side rounds out with three really good ones. So it's got Reflex, which is once again another really slow one that builds up to like a big crescendo. And then, so they sing.
Holding on, it's taking a toll on me. I lost when I thought that's the feeling lost. When that's the feeling lost.
So it's sort of almost like a 3-part rhyme to it. So it's like I lost, love, lust. Like you combine lost and love, you end up with lust in the rhyming pattern. But it's like what I thought was this. And it's that same thing as like now he's getting towards the end of the night
Yeah.
and he's having to confront all the feelings and stuff that he's come up
Yeah.
with from before. So it's just that reflex of
Man, so solid.
Yeah.
Every part of it,
It's genuine.
Incredible.
It's, yeah.
Mm.
Real.
We got to come up with shit like that, Danny.
I know.
yeah.
It's this alpaca stuff.
Not just lust.
Last.
I'm gonna sip my beer.
That's good. Good sip.
And then that's followed by Once, which is really cool. Just acoustic guitar strumming. So there's most of it all the way through the album is electric, and this is really the first time we
Yeah.
hear an acoustic guitar, but still kind of folded into that electric sound and that the sort of the funky sort of stuff. And there's a beautiful turn of phrase in the middle. So that's once again that's Once. So it's like all about you only get to live once. You know, you've got to do as much as you can. You miss opportunities and stuff. But he says,
I wanna buy a house. I wanna make a stand. I wanna love a girl. I wanna love a man. I wanna kill the past. I wanna stop the sand. I want another chance. But one is all you have.
so that's really cool. Just that.
Yeah.
All these things he wants to do, and maybe
Yeah.
he's missed the opportunities to do some of these things,
Yeah.
or maybe he still can. But it's
Yeah.
Yeah.
really cool
yeah.
one. And also love that I want to love a girl, want to love a man.
Yeah.
Throw that in there. It's not
Yeah.
romantic song. It's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
about
Yeah,
Yeah.
love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love, man.
Love.
And then we finish out with Inside, which is just an instrumental again. So that's they sort of keep that tone of because the opening is quite
Yeah.
instrumental as well. So it's just that really nice
Put you
bookend.
down easy.
Yeah, and you can flow straight from Inside straight into if you had it on repeat, you would just flow straight back
Yeah.
down to the start, and
Yeah.
keep going. It wouldn't be a problem at all.
It's so good.
Cool.
We can do that one day, then.
One
Yeah.
day. One
One
day.
day.
Once.
Only once.
Only
though.
once.
Alrighty. If you guys don't have any other songs that you want to sort of target, did you want to do like a final pitch, sort of final summary of the thoughts of why you think Day and Night is flawless from Parcels?
Yeah.
So Day and Night is flawless because it is masterpiece. Instrumentation, musicality, arrangements, the whole thing, the concept is brilliant. Yeah, it's just all round a banger.
Yeah.
Like there's no B-sides.
Yeah.
There's not a song that it's like, you know, they've just chucked it in there for fillers.
Yeah.
They're all just poured
Yeah.
their heart and soul
100%.
into every single song. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm very admired by it.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, normally we go when we're thinking about whether albums are flawless as a group. The host and I were like, the longer an album is, the less chance it has of being flawless. Because you know, if you've got like so many songs, you're going to have something that doesn't quite live up to that standard, or it's not up to that level. But this one, I found when I was listening, and that's what I expected to find when I heard this the first saw it. And I was like, 19 songs. Oh my goodness. But I think the whole album holds up really well. There isn't anything that you would go, oh yeah, that wasn't as strong as the rest, or you know, we really need to pull that out. It's certainly very similar all the way through. Once you feel that style, like there's not like a lot of different expressions and stuff, but I think it works really well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Totally, which is hard to keep people's attention span for that long these
Yes,
days.
yeah,
you know?
it really is. And
Yeah,
I was still grabbed by it right through to the end, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Like the
Sick.
first time I heard it, I remember I got just over halfway through the album and had to jump out of my car to jump on a boat, and I didn't have my earphones or my headphones,
Right.
and I was so upset.
Devastated,
I was
yeah.
like, oh man, the whole drive.
Yeah.
And you know, I can drive all right. Like, I probably got my mind on the road, but this time I was just somewhere else. The
Yeah.
whole drive. It was from like Coolangatta to like Runaway Bay or something, and just teleported there.
Yeah.
In a little musical capsule, and I was like, anything that can make you do that,
Yeah.
lose yourself, and still drive carefully.
Yeah.
To all you listeners out there.
10 and 2 still, people. Yeah.
Yeah. But man, it was just that piece of music as a whole. It makes you feel everything in a sense.
Whole.
You know?
Yeah.
And I'm a big fan of disco too.
Yeah.
Come on.
Everyone loves a dance.
That's right.
I think if it's done not sarcastically, like
Yeah.
no, out of a genuine love for the style, then
Yeah.
that's 100%. And
Yeah.
you get that with these guys. They're
That's
not
it.
like, aha, look at us, we're doing disco. Isn't
Yeah.
that weird?
Yeah.
Like, it's, no, we just love disco.
Yeah.
We love having a dance.
Yeah.
And it also, like, I think it's a good encapsulation of their technical skills, because as much as they get ragged on, it's also a really technical, complex
Oh,
style
man.
to
Oh,
play.
it really
Yeah.
is. It
And
really is.
yeah, probably underrated in that aspect. And
Yeah.
they're just like, well, we can do it, so we want to do it and share it with
Yeah.
people. So it's really
Yeah.
cool.
No, definitely, Liam.
100%.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Everybody, check out Peach Fur on Facebook and Twitter and everywhere else. And of course, thank you to the Princess Theatre for having us. It's been great. We've been very grateful for them for hosting. Thank you, everybody, for listening. We have Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and we are Flawless AMP on all of those. So you can join the conversation, share or like our posts, and give us a rating. Every little bit helps us to find more music lovers like you. As mentioned, we also have a Patreon. It's patreon.com/flawlessamp. So if you'd like to back us, please check that out. Thanks again for listening, and we will see you next time.